In the early 1990s, CD-ROM was an exciting new technology, and the way most CD-ROM was used to highlight this was full motion video, specifically interactive movies, and of course the poster boy for the interactive movie and also the bête noire of the interactive movie was Night Trap. Originally released for Sega's Mega CD and Sega CD systems, Night Trap saw ports to a host of other systems including PC CD-ROM and the 3DO. Recently it was reimagined for a 25th anniversary edition and released on the PC, the Switch, the PS4, and was reasonably successful in updating the game. Now, the thing with Night Trap is, whilst it's a game, its interactivity is somewhat limited. However, this plays to the strengths of full motion video as an artistic media for video games, as you will no doubt see momentarily. So here we go, we're going into Night Trap. As you can see, it's produced by Digital Pictures, a company that was founded from the remnants of Hasbro's Nemo, or Never Ever Mention Outside, interactive VHS project, for which Night Trap was the first title filmed. Now, I know there was a complicated way that this was going to work on VHS, but I'm not quite sure how it would have done. However, obviously with CD-ROM there were multiple video streams encoded that could be jumped through nearly instantaneously. You'll see slight pauses. Here we go, Night Trap, ooh, spooky, dripping blood. Yeah, anyway, see, Dana Plato, who was a pretty big star at the time this was filmed, having been in the sitcom Different Strokes. Now, as you can see, we're looking at the gameplay here. It's quite simple. There are 8 rooms within this house, each of which you are hooked up into by a security system. These are the augurs, who are the main enemies to the bulk of the game, which you have to trap when they get close enough to have the traps triggered on them. Now, basically you find yourself moving from room to room somewhat at random until you figure out the timings of where the augurs are going to be and when, because apart from a small audible beep, you have no real indicator as to which room the augurs appear in at any given moment. Now, as you can see, the jump from video track to video track and the slight pause between is covered quite handily by a burst of static. Oh, here we go, another one trapped. As you can see, you've got the little bar underneath where it says Access Blue. That tells you the proximity to the track of the enemy. As you can see, each room is fairly typically late 80s, early 90s Hollywood set decor. And this was in fact filmed to pretty much major motion picture standards. Well, I say major motion picture, more like straight to video motion picture, but you know, it wasn't done on the cheap. Some money was spent on this. Yeah, so you can see bouncing around through the rooms, you get a bit of background sound, and different stuff is happening at different times. It really is a layered narrative once you get going, because you'll have characters discussing something in one location while augurs are in another, or even 2 sets of characters in 2 different locations undertaking different bits of dialogue. Now, oh, here we go, some characters. Now, Night Trap was one of the first major CD-ROM releases, so you know, this was at the time brand new. Now obviously this is the 3DO version, which came a bit later. The original Sega CD edition had much lower quality video, you know, much lower resolution, much lower colour rate. It was, you know, very, very grainy, very blurry, but at the time it was amazing. It was something so incredibly new. You know, you're looking at full motion video. This was insane. If you were a, you know, 12, 13-year-old kid, you'd been playing NES games, Mega Drive games, Commodore 64 games, Apple II games. To see actual real video footage was nothing short of incredible. It was something truly, truly outstanding for the time. Now, the game did generate some controversy because, you know, it's horror themed, and there were a lot of misunderstandings about what you actually do in the game. many of the people who complain about the game seem to think that the intention of the game was to attack the female protagonist, when in fact, of course, the aim of the game was to save them from the real enemies. Now, here's something else. This is the 25th anniversary remastered edition for the PC. As you can see, it all looks much better, but ooh, there's that spooky dripping blood again. Ooh. Now, this features footage not seen in other versions of the game. I believe this intro that you're seeing here was what was originally intended to be the introductory video for the VHS version, hence the character holding the strange controller. In other versions of the game, such as the Sega CD and Sega 32X version, you get an introduction from the security team you're working for, where the character's holding like a Mega Drive joypad or a 3DO joypad. Excuse me. But in this version, this is the original introduction with the strange VHS weird controller. But it's different, but it gets you into the game. Gives you an idea of what's going on. As you can see, a little bit of an intro here with our hoorah tough guys. But let's get into the game. This is how the game looks on modern systems. Now, obviously, modern high definition displays, they're not going to show the video in high definition because it wasn't shot in high definition, hence the relatively small window. But this version of the game does have a couple of innovations that make things a little bit easier to play. For example, each of the 8 rooms now has a little video display, so you can see what's going on, so you know when an enemy appears in a room because you can visibly see it, and you can click on them, move between them a lot quicker. There's no real pauses between the video sequences being triggered. Like I said, it all looks better. Again, you're still relying on the flashing colour bar, this time underneath the timer, to let you know when an enemy is near to a trap. It's just makes the whole game an awful lot easier to play by being able to see what's going on in each room at the same time. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the gameplay. It makes it far less random and far more enjoyable, in my opinion. Now, you can see what we've done here with this extended video footage. You can sort of see in that clip. It's opened up to the full frame that it was filmed on, which means you can see the top of the set on a couple of PCs, but it does make everything look nice. For video footage that was recorded in, I believe, 1987, it's held up pretty well. There are a couple of points further into the game where some of the footage is a bit rough looking, but this is 26-year-old video footage, and it looks good. All things considered, it looks really good. I've certainly seen actual films from this time period that look an awful lot worse. But, Night Trap, it is what it is. It's not the greatest game in the world, I won't ever claim it is, but it is actually quite fun to play. Now, I really love this game. I'm not going to tell you to rush out and buy it because it's worth your while, but if you can find it for a good price on Steam, on the Nintendo eShop, on the PlayStation Store, I'd recommend getting it. And if you want a real nostalgia buzz, there's always plenty of copies of the Sega Mega CD version floating around on eBay, and yeah, it's well worth your effort. Now, I'd like to thank you for watching this video today. If you've enjoyed it, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and remember, I produce plenty of videos, not as many as some YouTubers, but I like to think it's quality more than quantity. And I will see you next time. This is Rob saying bye bye for now.